This is Frankie Aberzino with the Scoop News, and this is in regards to the picture I put out yesterday just to follow up. Didn't have time to do it, and this is where the Tom Knight, who's our sheriff for Sarasota County, Matt Mueller, who's the chief for the Venice PD and longtime Venice resident, and then Morales, who is he's down in Northport and he's a captain down there. They all three met at this Tiger Bay Club just to talk about their ideas and cover a few issues. On a few of the things that stood out, it's basically they talked about body cameras. And somebody once said there was an issue here that involved an individual that somebody came to me about. I'm still in the middle of looking into it. And they said, well, somebody told them, well, just pull the body cameras. And I told the lady, no, the only people that have body cameras right now, the only agency is the Sarasota Police Department. That's on a test market basis. They don't even have a lot of them. And I don't even know if they've received them yet. I know they were getting them. And I said, county doesn't have them. And it was surprising because the person that told them that to pull those stuff was a Venice police officer. And I'm like, how does he know? He doesn't know they don't have them. Back to the point of this thing. Knight continues to say it's a privacy issue, which he's always said from the beginning. He's concerned that if you go into a party and you go to arrest somebody and there's somebody else there that hasn't done anything wrong, isn't illegal, doing anything illegal, that they'll be in there and there's a privacy issue. I'm not sure I'm buying in on that. That's been his argument for a while. I think there's deeper issues there that he just doesn't want to talk about, and he's using that. Maybe I'm wrong. When it comes to redacting, he's not sure. Can we redact or not? And the problem with redacting on these films is the cost. There's a few issues. I've done a few rants on these guys. One is that usually this stuff is, when you get evidence at a police department, it's held in an evidence room. As we saw with Venice, where Matt Mueller's roof is caving in and it's leaking in there. Generally speaking, with these cams, they're held by a third party, and they're usually on some cloud or something like that out there. We all know about the vulnerability of the clouds. The other issue is the redacting cost. It's not cheap. It's not like giving me a police report and they can go in and redact it. It's pretty extensive, the amount of cost involved in redacting. So those are two issues there that, if I was running the department, I'd be concerned about. Now, Morales came up and said that they're researching the issues. He believes that it costs about $88,000. It's being reported for equipment and technology. But then again, that's not including the redacting, the storage and stuff, I don't think. I think it goes beyond that. Matt Mueller agreed with the others, basically saying, and he's ready to take that step when everything's in place. And the other issue that they all talked about is open carry. And as all of you guys know, I'm a concealed carry kind of guy. And with concealed carry, you basically can carry, but you can't show it to anyone. It's got to be basically hidden, which, they got all kinds of stuff. Like this particular case, when you go to pull it out of your pocket, it catches here so you can pull the arm out easily. And there's a push by Stubbe, who's a state senator here in Sarasota, and he's pushing for the open carry. And if you look at a lot of the statistics out there, they actually say that, and I think I did a rant on this, which I'll try to find and post, but they say that generally speaking, if you're open carry, on my rant, I have this big judge, and I showed that if you're in an argument and somebody comes up to you and they see this huge judge on your side, the probability of it going beyond just a yelling and name calling isn't that great. It just may not happen. However, when you got this in your pocket and nobody can see it, and somebody comes up, it starts getting heated. People start getting aggravated, like we saw here in Northport with the road rage incident. Next thing you know, someone's pulling out their gun. They got the stand your ground rule, where they can if they feel threatened, basically they can shoot. I don't think that will happen with an open carry. Now, the problem here is when they asked these guys, they came up and, I think it was, who was it? Knight. He came up and said that he said that the average, well, first let's go to Morales. He said that the average officer does not want open carry, which conflicts with a state survey where most officers want open carry. They think it makes sense. So he says, no, that's not the case in Northport. Matt Mueller talked about how he's interested, whatever's, he said there's bigger issues out there to fry than uh, open carry, and he said it's all about mental issues, and he has a different approach on stuff. Now, Knight, to be reported that he basically went out and said, look, open carry gun enforcement officials believe that um, basically he's got no problem with open carry, but he said that it won't keep shootings from occurring. And he basically talked about when an individual is an active shooter and goes into a school or mall. He's right. It won't stop it there. But in the situation I came up with, it may stop it there. And I think Tom would agree with that. Now, in the open shooter, no, if you got a guy coming in a mall or school and shooting, no, open carry is not going to help you. It's about the same as being concealed carry, and concealed carry may be better off for there because the guy doesn't see you have a gun, and hopefully you can put an end to it. Just like last week when I was in Sarasota, Lori Jerez, the lieutenant there for the patrol, said they have a concern with the people that are coming down to open carry. Well, you can open carry your gun in public, a rifle, whatever, and as long as you're going camping, fishing, I forget what the third thing is. And I said, well, if they're here at the rally, they're not fishing. She goes, no, well, that's a gray area. They can say, well, we're on our way going fishing. We stopped here. And that concerns them. And I remember a few times here in Venice, you've had incidents where people would open carry. And actually, a lot of police didn't know how to handle it. And I'm not sure they handled it right because some of the episodes were videotaped. So that's where we stand. That's what the three officers, Sheriff Knight, Venice PD Chief Matt Mueller, and Morales, the captain down in Northport, talked about at the Tiger Bay Club. That's your update. This has been Francesco Abruzzino with The Scoop News.